everyone, Redmist back with a 25-man version of Auriaya. This is one of the trickier bosses in the instance Ulduar. Now the reason this is tricky is because of the pull. Now notice we had a Death Knight start the pull with Death and Decay. It's virtually impossible to protect the first guy that does the pull. We do our best, but we normally lose them. Now the pull is the thing that makes this fight important and challenging. Notice how we're all stacked up round the corner. That's to avoid the 4 little adds doing a pounce. Now we've got our main tank sitting on the boss herself, and he's going to grab her, and the 4 adds are grabbed by the other tanks, 2 different tanks in this case, and they're separated. Now we're going to use a couple of hunters to help with the misdirect, and we're separating them. Now this separation is due to a damage buff that these mobs gain if they're close together. So we're going to keep 2 up near the boss and 2 we've separated. Now the order in which we do this, because aggro is a pretty significant challenge because you want to burn these down as fast as possible, is we're going to burn Skull, and then we go to the second group, melee and ranged, and we burn down Square. Now this is because we've been building aggro on the primary targets of the tank, and the off targets are not having a significant amount of sustained aggro built up on them. So once we've burned down Square, as you can see in this pair that's being tanked at the back, we shall go back to the second of the pair in the first group, burn that down, and then back again to the green triangle in this video that you can see. Now this is all slowed down here so you can see the pull, because that's what this fight's all about. Now the boss has a number of really annoying capabilities. Now the first one of these capabilities is a fear, so you'll be able to see a fear coming soon. It's a group-wide fear. Best to have a warrior tank the boss, because he'll need to dance if he can, and also make sure Tremor Totem's down if you've got any shaman. Now the first fear is easy to cope with. Now the thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to have any mages, any shaman, or any warriors, in particular the main tank, absolutely straight after the fear. If they can Will of Forsaken out of it, if you're an undead and horde side, any way you can get out of it, to interrupt her next casting ability, because she has an ability which she casts straight after the fear, which is effectively an AoE shadow damage that will effectively wipe your raid if you don't interrupt it quick. Now that interrupt is one of the most important things to do outside of the pull. So we've got a fear here coming again, and then the Tremor Totem ticked for the group that I was in because I put it down, and it's pretty good. So the other thing I'm going to do during this fight is I've just put a raid symbol on myself after we've killed those adds, because it's much better to stack up with everybody on one target just behind the tank. Now the reason we do that is because of this Feral Defender. Now that Feral Defender you just saw die off to the left has created a pool of shadow on the ground, and that does a significant amount of damage to anybody who steps in it. It's a void zone. Now that Defender, it's very difficult to do what we're doing. It's taken us a little bit of practice, but what you should do is at the last minute before that Defender dies, pull it off to one side, stun it, hopefully with a Paladin stun, and finish it off. So you've got to be quick, communicate well, and you'll be able to pull it off to one side. Now a lot of people move the bosses around. You can do that, but if you're quick with the Feral Defender, then you'll be alright. So the next thing that this boss does that is an absolute raid wiper if you don't get it right, is she does an AoE cone based damage effect, which hits for a huge amount but is split amongst everybody that is facing the boss. So you just saw it there, it's called a Sonic Screech. And that Sonic Screech, it means that everybody has got to be in front of the boss. That includes melee, I'm afraid, so none of this going behind the boss to improve your damage or reduce the amount of dodges or parries that you get. So you've got to be stacked up. So the party is stacked up on me here. That's my job, is to make sure I stay in front of this boss. If you have to move the boss, move it after a Sonic Screech, and move it as a unit. Make sure everybody moves together, and again raid marking can help tremendously. You'll need to re-raid mark if you use something like Deadly Boss mods, because it'll apply symbols to the people in the raid or to various mobs that turn up, so again be a little bit careful to pick the right raid symbols. Okay, so you saw another Feral Defender die off to the side, and the Feral Defenders constantly res. You want to kill the first sort of 4 or 5 of these defenders. After that, don't worry about it. It's not important. Just tank them if you can tank them. Again, they're kind of not really tankable because they jump around all over the place, but where a tank can, if it can pull them a little bit and get hold of it, that would be great. Okay. Hybrid classes help out on healing after the Sonic Screech. You're going to need it if you're a kind of an average raid like this one was here. So the Sentinel Blast is the thing that you've got to interrupt, and that's what any mage, any shaman, anybody you can interrupt needs to be spamming the moment you get out of that fear, because it's cast immediately afterwards. So notice throughout this fight that we're managing to DPS. We lose a couple of people and it's to the void zones. Again, that's just to bad luck, lack of healing, lack of attention as to what's going on in the fight. All round it's just a challenging fight. Now if you stack up and group up as we are here, one of the other advantages that you'll get is that occasionally she'll summon a group of adds. Now those group of adds need to be AoE down. If you're all grouped up like we are here, on top of me in this case, the AoE will also hit the boss. Now these groups of adds do need to be dealt with. They do too much AoE damage to the healers, because the healers will pull their aggro. So again, make sure you tank them, make sure the tanks that are in the group do Thunderclap, do Consecration, and pull the aggro on those that swarm of adds. And this is a rinse and repeat fight. It is a little bit of a DPS race because your mana will slowly die on your healers, because there's a lot of raid healing to be done here. So be a little bit careful. Don't separate out. The thing that stops this from being successful is if you separate out into different groups of people, because the Feral Defender will effectively charge people. Think last boss in Zulaman if you've ever done that, and you'll get the idea. Now you'll notice during this fight that we do have a couple of issues. Now one of the issues that we had a little bit later on in this fight near the end was the boss turned. Now sometimes she will just turn. It's a bit of a weird boss. She does tend to reposition herself quite a lot. She can bug out if you get her too close to the corner of one of the walls on the left side from where you're seeing now. We've done that before, tried to tank her down a corridor and she completely bugged out, and we wiped because of that. So this boss is about the pull, about killing the Feral Defenders in the right place, about making sure that you've got totems up to counter the fears where possible, make sure you face the boss, and make sure you interrupt the large raid damage that she does. Other than that, heal, keep people up, hybrids help out, and you'll be able to complete this boss without too much of a problem. Believe me, from experience, this boss is all about the pull. Get that pull right and you'll be laughing. It's a great fun boss, enjoyable. It does separate out people that don't come and stand in groups. Very frequently you'll find that you'll end up, as you're learning this encounter, you'll have a couple of ranged disappeared off to one side. Now you'll notice that for a few of us in this raid, that was the first kill, which is good, and we only lost 2 people. We lost one right at the beginning on the pull, which is unfortunate. Death Knight is the one that we've tried. We've tried Hunter pulls, we've tried Paladin pulls, we've tried Shaman pet pulls, pretty much everything you can imagine. It seems that the Death Knight pull is the thing that works the best. Thanks everybody, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoy your encounter with that fantastic boss. Cheers.